Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Absolutely. My name's Hudson. That's Sal from Comic Pop. It's not his birthday today. Had to clarify for everybody. But we're going to talk about how Amazon killed Invincible. Sal,
Yeah.
you haven't heard about this yet? You haven't.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I have heard because Invincible has come out, and I forgot because Amazon made it very easy to forget. Um, Essentially, what's happening, and Hassan, please feel free to fill in where I missed the understanding is that essentially Amazon's like, ooh, Invincible's popular. Let's use it as an effort to encourage slash force people to pay a higher tier for Amazon Prime. Is that correct?
Yeah, so Amazon Prime has traditionally been an ad-free service, maybe an ad at the beginning. That's it,
Yeah.
if even. And then with the success of Netflix ads, Amazon took, and Netflix created a lower tier subscription that has ads in it. Amazon loved it. They wanted to do it, and we got 4 or 5 episodes of Invincible at the beginning of November or into November, and that was
Yeah.
critically received. Everybody was raving about it. Everyone was freaking out about it. And then they claimed that the episodes were not only, or they were done, but the creator said, well, we really want you to sit with this conclusion for a while. We really want you to sit with it. And then the week that the show returned, this last week, happened to be the exact same week that Amazon officially launched their $2.99 extra a month for ad-free situation.
Uh-huh. So they deliberately delayed the show as an effort to get people to sign up for something they wouldn't normally sign up for.
Exactly. 100%. Because this is Invincible, The Boys, and a couple other shows that are like biggest tier subscription runners.
Yeah.
And they knew they got everybody in November with Invincible,
Right.
and they deliberately, because there's no production delays. People have already started recording, writing, and they started animating season 3.
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh no, they're all in on Invincible, and I know for a fact, like over at Skybound, like they are. Like, this is the long haul for them. They have every intention of Invincible being like the biggest thing for them, and it's funny, irrespective of that. I was watching TikTok the other day, and I saw this dude, and he completely echoed a thought I had because I don't like the Invincible show, and I've made no bones about it. I'm not a big fan. Not like I hate it. I don't think it's a bad show. It's just that I don't like Invincible too much. There's a point in the show where it completely loses me, or the book where it completely loses me, and I feel like there's no way they're not going to do that in the show, and so I'm not even going to bother. But somebody was talking about how with Invincible, they were like everybody was on board. Season 1, everybody was in. It was the biggest effing thing, and I can say Hassan and I both know it was. People were all on board for Invincible. When we covered Invincible, it did great. When we talked about it as a comic book, it did great. Like Invincible was everywhere, and it really hit. And it hit in a big way for a lot of young folk. With season 2, first of all, they split it. Secondly, you only released 4 episodes.
yeah.
And then you take a huge break in between those 4 episodes. And the 4 episodes were not the most awesome. They did not match the level or the height of season 1. That's because you first of all, you made your second season 8 episodes, and secondly, you made your first half of your second season the first 4. You know what I mean? Like it's just it was a really like crazy and stupid way to do it. So during the hiatus, this dude starts thinking, he's like, maybe I didn't like season 1 as much, or maybe they lost their way. So he went back, and in the space between the first and second halves of season 2, he read all of Invincible as a comic book. And he's like, and then he's watching what he saw, like rewatching it, and he's going, they're never going to do what they did here. Like he's going, the comic book goes so hard, they're never going to do that. So he's like, I'm out. Like he quits Invincible because of all these delays. And of course, it's so for me, it's a second, it's at least an explanation for why they even bother. Because it's like Rick and Morty, I get why there's like 2 years between seasons, because Dan Harmon's an insane person who is a perfectionist and needs to have every single little thing in a particular order. But with this, it's like, dude, get the shows out there, especially when you hear about the production schedules and about how like hard they're going, and about how Invincible is like Amazon Prime's like biggest thing. It's like, dude, let's go. And it's like, no. We want to squeeze a little bit more money out of these people.
They weren't publicizing the day the show was coming back either.
No.
So there was a lot of people that heard Invincible's coming back 2024. They thought
Yep.
that meant January. So we had all these comments. What are you guys going to cover Invincible? It didn't even come back at the time.
No.
Right. So there's more hype killing momentum. And then the week it comes out, I think would have been smarter maybe the week before, 2 weeks before. Build a little bit hype. People are back in, locked Invincible. Because here's the thing. I'll disagree with Sal. I really like the show. I do hate where the comics went. I don't know if we're thinking of the same particular storyline, but there's one that makes me so upset I want to like punch my fist
there's
through
actually
a wall.
two things about them, and they go in succession. Like one thing happens, and I'm like, why?
We'll mention it after the show and see if we're talking about the same
We'll
thing.
talk to the chat afterwards. Watch us on twitch.tv/comicstorian.
Yeah. So that withstanding, I really do like the show. I really enjoyed the first half of Invincible. I thought the final fight was great. A lot of people have started to look at the comic paneling and the artwork and how that is far more gratuitous than it is. But to be fair, in animation, especially Western animation, we don't really ever get gore at that level without it being kind of what's the word for it? Just kind of self-indulgent, honestly.
Yes,
like
absolutely.
They don't ever do it tastefully.
No, I get it. I didn't like it. I thought it was way over the top. But the other thing is, I also understand why they did it. I'm like, no. It makes sense. It's just not for me.
Yeah, no, and I'm like I'm baffled that Amazon did this because I really do I like Mark Grayson as a character. I love J.K. Simmons as an actor, and I like Omni-Man by proxy, and like the fact that into the end of season 2A, the end of part 1, you get Omni-Man back for 2 episodes, and it kind of is this really big moment, and you could take a week off. You could take 2 weeks off even. But any more than that, you're leaving people at the edge of their seat. They're going to get off the couch and go somewhere else. And that's what Amazon just did.
Well, you're a digital-based company who is in the entertainment business. It's not like you're new to this. This isn't Paramount Plus here. You need to know your business at this point. And you know that, like, if you lose momentum, you lose the game.
Yeah. And I got to say, Amazon, it's one of those things where it's like Netflix is just Netflix that just exists on its own. It's a streaming service. Hulu, Disney's backing it. There's other things going on. Amazon, it's Amazon, right? Like, this is the company I ordered. I just moved all my new things from. I bought my bed. I bought everything from there. I literally ordered a cat litter, cat food, everything you could imagine. I'm buying from Amazon, and they're cutting costs by such a ridiculous margin to be able to do this. You guys really couldn't bite the bullet on $2.99 a month extra for your subscribers,
right?
Because that's how much more it costs. $2.99 more.
That is, and they're doing it based on trend. They're looking at like the numbers that like Disney Plus is increasing and Netflix is increasing. Of course, Netflix is a bigger offender. I think Netflix is a bigger offender only in as much as Netflix has raised its price like 4 times in like a year and a half.
Yep,
but
keeps going up.
But the argument, I think, is that Amazon is worse because that company's a monster. The company has already undercut every other industry in the world so that it can be where it is. And it's like, so, but you're also going to still squeeze $2.99 out of your audience. Like, it just seems, I understand. It is where it's going. The problem is we're seeing the trend. Like, one day, Amazon is going to be it. I mean, it is it, right? Like, you hear every single industry talking about, we can't compete with Amazon. We can't compete with Amazon. Essentially, Amazon is number one. At some point or another, Amazon's going to start, and maybe this is the first pebble down the avalanche that says Amazon is going to start tightening the news, where they're like, okay, so we're number one. The point of being number one is not for like the employee of the month certificate on my wall. The point of being number one is so that I can have all your money. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it's like, well, so yeah, your Amazon Prime subscription is going to be $49.99 a month. Because where are you going to go?
Yep.
We've literally choked out every other industry. There's no other option for you. You know, it's like this is going back a ways, but it's like a 30-year-old episode of The Simpsons where they're talking about Kodos and Kang running for president. Well, I believe I'll vote for a third-party candidate. Go ahead, throw your vote away. Like, it's just like, yeah, where are you going to go? I believe I'll go to the local food market. Go ahead, starve to death. You know,
yeah. Physical media is not coming back in a big way. Like, we're not going to suddenly get, people are collecting it more, but prices aren't going down. We're not going to be able to, the cheapest, most equitable way to watch your media Pretty sure it's cable television now.
Mhm.
I hate to say it. It's cable television and the DVR, but it's if you have the streamers, you're going to be at a loss. EA just said something about how you don't own any of the video games you buy from them. You're buying a license of them, and they can take
Mhm.
away that license as they choose, which is kind of a scary thing if you spent $70 on a video game that you
Right.
don't own anymore, because that really changes the narrative. Netflix just did a big crackdown on password sharing,
Mhm.
and it sadly led to massive growth from them. People said they weren't going to pay it, and they did. And now Netflix in that situation led to, I believe it was yesterday, Hulu and Disney announced that they are doing the same thing. In fact, Hulu said they'll just delete your account if you password share,
Nice.
which
That's
is insane.
yeah.
And I absolutely do a little password share. Like my girlfriend lives 45 minutes down the road. She's got my Hulu account. Why should two of us pay for it? We're together most of the time, but she's at her apartment. She wants to watch
Yeah.
Survivor. This makes sense, but it's wait, Survivor's on Paramount. She wants to watch The Bachelor. She hates that show, but whatever. It's a good
Yeah.
example. It's
Totally,
it's
exactly.
crazy.
No, it is crazy. And Netflix, so it's like Invincible is being killed by Amazon because Amazon is just tightening the noose and
Greed.
getting too greedy.
Yeah. Do
And
you
it's
think
like
it'll definitively kill Invincible, or will Invincible have a resurgence again?
I think that audiences love to say that they're done with something forever, and then the second that it does anything they want, they're immediately back. Uh, I think that the audiences that rabidly love Invincible, who may be turned off by this price increase, I think too significant a number will be on board for the change. I think that part of our problem as a species is our resiliency, and you find that like people talk about, oh, this is too much, this is too untenable, this is the threshold has reached its limit, and it's like, you'd be surprised what kind of limits human beings can reach when they don't want to deal with something or they feel happy and fed. And it's like with respect to these price increases, like just Netflix never responded, Netflix never winced at the bulking of these increases, and neither did Amazon. You just keep pushing, they'll just keep pushing, and eventually they'll hit the limit, but they haven't found it yet. When it comes to this with Invincible, um, I just hope that nothing like Invincible comes out in the time it would take for people to come back to Invincible, lest it be replaced. You
Yeah.
know,
That would be heartbreaking. I do think, I really hope the TV show goes in a better direction than the comics in a lot of ways, because there are some wonderful characters. Sometimes the story gets a little bit too big for its britches. It has too many ever evolving storylines and too many characters. But if they can
hmm
tighten ship, which they kind of have into season 1 and 2, in my
they
opinion,
will. I mean,
I think that.
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, no, you're good. You're good.
Well, just
I
the comic does eventually kind of like
isolate
narrow.
itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting to see if it ends up going anywhere, and people are still excited to watch it. I loved my Invincible memes in my feed. I think after they went on the hiatus, we got an influx of people posting Invincible comic panels, like whole chapters on TikTok in the photo thread with music behind it. And that got super popular on TikTok. So a lot of people may have already read ahead and are
Yeah.
expecting, it's a really big arc. And here's the thing. I have a theory as to who's about to pop onto Invincible to bring asses back in seats.
Yeah.
And they
Oh
teased
yeah.
it. They're doing a storyline, and a Mr. Josh Keaton, aka Spider-Man, already teased that he is going to be a part of this Invincible season, but he didn't say which character. Now, he's a very
Mhm.
prominent voice actor. He could voice just about anybody. But notoriously, the storyline they're doing right now has Spider-Man in it. And if
Mhm.
Spider-Man gets into Invincible, which is very possible, licensing, everything across the board, it's super viable. That could bring asses back in seats. So maybe that'll be the thing.
I
Who
I
knows?
find that if Spider-Man showed up, people would find out about it after it already happened. I don't think
You
anybody's
think
gonna
so?
watch it while it's happening. I think they'd be like, "I'm sorry, did you say Spider-Man was in Invincible?" Like, and then it would be a big thing. But I am seeing a lot of people respond to Shrinking Ray. People are like, talking about that. I won't spoil anything, but they're like, they are really sharing memes and talking about this like kind of cultural touchstone as far as like, you know, futures of characters and stuff. And I'm like, all right, so people are talking about it. It's not like there's nothing. I will say that the majority of silence is coming from Amazon and Invincible.
Mm-hmm.
The audience is trying. I think the audience is just by virtue of it being an audience, keeping the show alive.
Yeah.
And all Invincible needs to do is have some death-inducing release date for season 3, like summer 2027. Like all they need to do is say, we'll see you in 2027, and Invincible's over.
End of that show. End of its whole legacy. But
Now,
that's
people will remember it. The legacy will endure, but the numbers, like Amazon, will continue to question why the numbers are so bad.
Yeah,
Because they're always confused.
Studio executives surprisingly don't have a clue about the thing they spend millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Sony has literally scratched their heads. Why did Madam Web fail?
We can't talk about Madam Web again. We can't do it. We can't have the fifth Madam Web discussion and the Invincible discussion. The nightmare that is that show.
Yeah.
But guys, that's our thoughts on Invincible. Whether it's ending, do you guys think people are going to rally behind it? How do you feel about paying $2.99 more? It's a small amount of money. Totally get it if you're like, this is inconsequential to you, but it's on top of a Prime subscription. And depending who you are, you either use Prime consistently for delivery or use it consistently for media and music and all these things. And if they added $2.99 for ad-free video, I imagine they're going to add $1.99 for ad-free music soon. So if you use Prime Music, it's a domino effect once they get success with these things. So let us know in the comments below. Do you care? Are you excited about Invincible? We'll probably get back to reviewing it next week anyways. That's if you guys want it. Comment below if you want it. And until then, that's Sal from Comic Pop. I'm Hassan from Hassan Kader. That's me. That's my name, and it's my channel. I'll see you guys next time.